State government warns against vandalism of public infrastructure. Mare Festival returns as Ondo State revives culture. Federal government suspends 4% import duty levy amid criticism. And from the foreign scene, Arab country leaders berate Israel's shedding in Gaza. Good evening. Welcome to Osrc News at 7. My name is Odunayo Sawyer. Ondo State is poised for economic growth as the construction of Lagos to Calabar Coastal Highway advances. The road project, under the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu, is designed to pass through Ondo among other coastal states in the southern part of the country. Accordingly, construction activities have begun in Ondo State segment of the Legacy project that will cover 63 kilometers within the state. Specifically, clearing of the areas marked for the superhighway started from Okekpare, Agerige, and Aheriland in Ilaje area. The Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, said the road is witnessing ongoing construction activities at different axes at the same time. The takeoff point of completed 30 kilometers had been commissioned by President Tinubu in June this year as part of activities marking his 2 years in office. In another development, the Ondo State government has expressed concern over recent vandalism of public infrastructure, specifically the deliberate cutting and theft of cables from a newly installed traffic light in Araromi, Akure Metropolis. This act, according to the government, undermines the collective progress of the state. In a statement, the Commissioner for Infrastructure, Lands and Housing, Ayorinde Olawoye, said public infrastructure is essential for improving safety, easing traffic flow, and enhancing residents' quality of life. Hence, the destruction of such facilities harms the well-being of the community. The government urged the public to protect these installations and report any suspicious activities. Security agencies have also been instructed to identify, apprehend, and prosecute those responsible for such destructive behavior. The Governor of Ondo State, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, has approved new appointments to the Teaching Service Commission Board. Oluwadaisi Oke was named chairman, with Ajani Oladipupo, Titilayo Fayoriju, Ujolakwe Adiyemi, and Isiaka Osman appointed as full-time members. A statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Ebenezer Adeniyo, said part-time members include the chairman of ASUT and PTA, as well as representatives from the Ministries of Budget and Economic Planning, Education, and Finance. Additionally, the Governor's Senior Special Assistant on Information Technology, Tomide Akeribido, has been appointed as Executive Chairman of the Ondo State Information Technology Agency. Governor Aiyedatiwa, in the statement, encouraged all appointees to utilize their expertise effectively to support the administration's ease agenda. In education, primary education is the foundation of learning, yet enrollment in many public schools continues to decrease. In Ondo State, statistics show worrying gaps despite several government interventions. Ayoluwa Tomiwa Adetunji reports on the challenges of enrollment and the measures being taken to keep children in school.
The classroom is expected to be a place filled with pupils who are eager to learn. But in many public primary schools across Ondo State, enrollment figures tell a different story. According to Ondo State Universal Basic Education Board, about 296,722 pupils are enrolled in 1,277 public primary schools across the state. Yet, The figure is overshadowed by an estimated 240,000 out-of-school children, a situation authorities find alarming. A head teacher explained that enrollment has been dropping steadily, citing parent preference for private schools, poor infrastructure, and the shortage of teachers in rural areas.
Our pupils is almost 600 plus. When you look at the population, we were just saying the population is increasing, the population is increasing. As the population is increasing, schools are also increasing. So this one is one of the factors. Then two, shortage of teachers, I told you initially, is another factor that is of focus in public primary schools.
Education stakeholders also point at weak supervision, poverty, and lack of awareness about the value of basic education as reasons for the decline. At the policy level, Subeb says government has rolled out interventions to reverse the trend. These include renovation of over 900 schools with befitting classrooms, toilets, and boreholes, as well as distribution of over 8,000 learning desks and teaching aids. Governor Loke Ayedatiwa has also recruited 1,100 new teachers across the 18 council areas, while more than 6,000 teachers have been retrained under professional development programs. In addition, the school feeding program currently covers more than 108,000 pupils, encouraging attendance and retention.
For this infrastructure and for the fact that education at this level is completely free, that is why we are now telling parents that instead of going for LAPO, that will give them hypertension, instead of giving themselves unnecessary problem, that these schools are near to them. They should all bring their children to the public primary schools. The essence of basic education is that every child must go to school. On no circumstance should a child be deprived of primary or basic education. That is the law. And if that is the case, parents who think they are paying in those schools or this is that they cannot afford it, we are now telling those parents, you don't have to pay anything. Your child will just come free and he will go home. All you need to do is uniform. And education is a right. It's not a privilege. Every child is entitled to education, and it is supposed to be borne by the state. And this is what we are doing now.
To complement this effort, Subeb management embarked on a sensitization campaign across the state, urging parents to enroll their children in public primary schools. As the new academic session begins, all eyes are on whether these measures will yield the expected result in boosting enrollment.
Meanwhile, Accra South Secretariat witnessed a large turnout of students and their parents who stormed the premises to receive incentives for the new school session. Chairman of the council, Benga Fashua, had earlier announced plans to support indigent students in the local government with free books and school bags to encourage early resumption. Omori Olangbuji reports that no fewer than 1,000 students benefited from the gesture.
A cross-section of the students turned out to receive the educational materials provided by the council management. The scheme targeted a minimum of 1,000 students irrespective of tribe or culture. Students appreciate the kind gesture of the council chairman and pray for his successful tenure.
I am getting this book. To take it to my school, I will start to be writing. I'm very happy about it. I use the book to write in my class and do everything I want to use them.
God will bless him. She will not die. God will guide him.
Councillors, party chairman at ward level, the Nugget chairman, and the chairman of all primary school head teachers in the council area commended the initiative, describing it as a step that will go a long way in motivating the students in their academic pursuits.
Everyone is happy. Me, I'm even happy because I'm one of the councillors also, and my ward benefited from this.
We have resumed today. Some people came to the school this morning without a single note. And this thing is coincident now for a local government chairman to deem it fit and provide the instructional material, most especially the exercise book, to all the learner, irrespective of the tribe or schools. Both public and private are here now.
We thank God for his life, and the party member and all the political member, all the students in Akure South local government, they are already enjoying the program. So we thank God for him.
As well. So it's beneficial to all. And staff as well, we are citizens of Akure, it's our local government, and some of them also brought their children to enjoy this package. So for us, we're happy about it.
Speaking on the motive behind the initiative, the council chairman, who is also the outgoing chairman in Ondo State, Binga Fashua, explained that the initiative is part of the council's efforts to align with Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa's vision for education as outlined in the At Ease agenda.
In conjunction and in support of what has been seen done at the state level, we are replicating it here to see that we ease this return back to school. We understand that most of the times it becomes a burden for parents to gather funds at a time like this. We're using this as a relief, a support mechanism to discourage students who begin to sell on the streets.
He called on well-meaning citizens to support efforts aimed at promoting educational standards across the state. With the distribution of learning materials, Akure South Council hopes to keep more children in school and inspired for the new session. Omoriola Hungbeji, Osrc News.
Still ahead, Ondo State government revives Mari Festival in bid to boost tourism. This and more after this break.
The MTN Mega Billion promo is here. Dial star 900 hash and recharge 100 naira or more before 5 p.m. and you could be a millionaire. At 7 p.m., all cash prizes will be paid directly into your Momo account. Dial star 900 hash. Start recharging now and stand a chance to win big in the MTN Mega Billion promo.
Thank you for rejoining us. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at OSRC TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV Ondo. The Ondo State government has announced the return of the Mari Festival in Idori, set for December 2025. This comes after years of suspension. Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Afolabi Adesoji, explained that the festival's revival aligns with the government's vision to reposition tourism as a driver of economic growth, youth empowerment, and cultural revival in Ondo State. The festival will showcase the unique traditions of Idori, promote the world-famous Idori Hills, and attract visitors, investors, and cultural enthusiasts from across Nigeria and beyond. And beyond celebrating culture, the commissioner said the festival will create new opportunities for business and investment. Still on promoting culture, the Ondo State Radio Vision Corporation, OSRC News Department, has conducted its weekly editorial meeting in the Yoruba language, a deliberate effort to promote indigenous communication and sustain the cultural heritage of the Southwest. The session, which took place at the corporation's newsroom in Akure, brought together editors, reporters, and production staff who discussed story ideas, coverage strategies, and content improvement entirely in Yoruba. Our correspondent Abidemi Akirotoye reports.
Editorial meetings are the heartbeats of every news organization. They provide the platform where journalists brainstorm, set ethical standards, and decide how stories will be reported and presented to the public. This week, the joint editorial meeting of Ondo State Radiovision Corporation, Osrc TV, and Orange FM was held in the Yoruba language. This development comes against the backdrop of concerns that Yoruba, once a dominant means of communication across the southwest of Nigeria and even parts of West Africa, is gradually losing ground, especially among younger generations who often prefer English in daily interaction. Without deliberate efforts, the language could face extinction within decades. Yet, Yoruba continues to enjoy global recognition. It features in academic curricula in Europe and North America, is taught on language learning platforms, and remains central to cultural festivals in Brazil, Cuba, and the United States, where descendants of the African diaspora keep its traditions alive. By holding its regular editorial conference in Yoruba, Maiden Edition, Osrc is not only strengthening newsroom's professionalism, but also affirming the value of local language in modern journalism. The Director of News and Current Affairs, Mr. Taiwo Ibitoye, said the initiative is aimed at rescuing endangered languages.
We are saying that it is time for us to value our language so that our identity will not go into extinction. That's why we conducted our editorial meeting in Yoruba language.
The Director of News and Current Affairs of Orange FM, Mrs. Adebimpe Akindele, describes the step as a renewed commitment to broaden Yoruba content across Osrc radio and television.
You go to international conference and you see people speaking their dialect. You only have interpreters who convert or speak to them, to interpret to English language. It's wrong for us to tag native mother tongue, vernacular. We should start speaking Yoruba to our children. Yoruba is the most guilty. Any other tribe in Nigeria, you see them, when they see themselves, they speak Yoruba.
They encouraged staff to write and translate stories in the language and to partner with scholars and cultural advocates. Other journalists said the bold step by Osrc is proof that editorial policies, when creatively applied, can preserve indigenous identity while elevating journalistic standards.
It's afforded us the opportunity of actually knowing some things that we didn't even know the Yoruba names for them, and those names too, those Yoruba names that we thought maybe is really Yoruba language, that are not Yoruba language, that are borrowed language into Yoruba. And when you were talking about some of those things came through religion, like alubarika, like alubosa, which is onion. Alubosa is not a Yoruba name; it's a borrowed language from from the north.
You just discover that many of us, we can't speak our dialect. It doesn't make me happy. I would love to speak my dialect. Unfortunately, my parents never spoke my dialect to me, so that's the reason. So I try as much as possible to speak Yoruba language to my kids. I don't even speak English to them.
With this initiative, Osrc is setting an example for other media houses that indigenous languages can thrive in contemporary journalism when given pride of place. It is a reminder that preserving culture begins with everyday choices, including the language in which stories are told. Abidemi Akinrotoye, Osrc News.
We go on another break. The news returns shortly.
MTN Mega Billion promo is here. Dial star 900 hash and recharge 100 naira or more before 5 p.m. and you could be a millionaire. At 7 p.m., all cash prizes will be paid directly into your Momo account. Dial star 900 hash. Start recharging now and stand a chance to win big in the MTN Mega Billion promo.
Welcome back, and still staying with the Ondo State Radio Vision Corporation, which has pledged maximum support to the Nigerian Association of the Blind, NAB, Ondo State chapter in promoting inclusivity and addressing their requests. Director General of Osrc, Kenneth Odushola Stevenson, stated this during a courtesy visit by members of the association to the media house. Osrc's Adewumi Taiwo reports.
Ondo State's increasing focus on inclusivity has led the Nigeria Association of the Blind to seek a partnership with the state media house to amplify the voices and concerns of the visually impaired. Their courtesy call to the Ondo State Radio Vision Corporation was met with assurances of support. Chairman of the association, Mr. Karim Babatunde, appreciated the OSRC management, especially the Director General, Kenneth Odushola Stevenson, for the station's selfless service. He noted that NAB members have been inspired and positively impacted by OSRC programs, particularly sports presentations by the station staff. He also unveiled plans for an upcoming event for the visually impaired scheduled for October 15, 2025, and appealed for their inclusion in future empowerment initiatives.
I'm a sportsman. I listen to sports news here and there to tell you I'm a coach. Yes, I'm a coach. A blind coaching sighted person. Yes. That's a great thing. It's a wonderful. It's due to the sport news I listen to by Mr. Wahab Bankole. Yes. I am your sports anchor. Wow.
General Secretary of NAB, Mr. Idowu Oluwashola, and the association's women leader, Mrs. Queen Olowola, also expressed appreciation to the OSRC team for their continued encouragement and support. OSRC Director General, Mr. Kenneth Odushola Stevenson, represented by his technical advisor, Mr. Collins Olagunjoye, reaffirmed the corporation's readiness to support NAB in promoting their activities. He assured them that their request would be given due consideration and praised the state governor for appointing competent leaders to aim the station.
It inspires us to reaffirm our commitment to inclusivity and, of course, empowerment. How do we go about breaking these barriers?
Now, we acknowledge the challenges faced by visually impaired, individuals in Nigeria, and of course, particularly in this state, our dear social state, accessing stable job opportunities. That I can assure you, the DG is going to take it over as soon as it arrives. As far as this state is concerned, every of your program that is going to be coming forth any moment from now, I think in October, right? Yes. The soccer, whatever thing you name it, I know the DG has already given approval and they can be completed accordingly.
The courtesy call highlighted NAB's determination to strengthen partnerships that foster opportunities and equal participation for its members. Adewumi Taiwo, OSRC News.
OSRC Lens has caught a truck carrying a heavy load bent sideways on a major road in Akure, Ondo State capital, raising safety concerns among motorists and residents. Motorists and residents of the state capital expressed fear over the presence of such overloaded and seemingly unstable vehicles on the roads, warning that they pose a serious risk of accidents and traffic disruptions. Residents, speaking off camera, called on the Ondo State government and relevant authorities to conduct thorough due diligence and enforce stricter regulations to prevent potential catastrophes. They emphasized the urgent need for regular inspections and monitoring to ensure these vehicles comply with safety standards and do not endanger lives or property. And the federal government has suspended the implementation of the 4% free on-board levy recently introduced by the Nigeria Customs Service on all imported goods. The decision, announced by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, followed widespread concerns from importers, trade experts, and other industry stakeholders about the levy's negative economic implications. In a letter addressed to the Comptroller General of Customs, Wale Edun, acting in his capacity as chairman of the NCS board, ordered the immediate suspension of the levy and explained that extensive consultations had been held with stakeholders and experts whose feedback showed that the levy would place a significant strain on trade and the economy. According to the letter, the suspension aims to create room for further engagement with all relevant stakeholders and a comprehensive review of the levy's framework and long-term impact on the economy. And to security matters, the 32 Artillery Brigade of the Nigerian Army, Owena Cantonment, Akure, will conduct a range classification exercise from Thursday, September 18 to Friday, September 19, 2025. In a statement by the Assistant Director, Army Public Relations, 32 Artillery Brigade, Major Unjoka Irabo, the drill will run daily between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. at the military range, Ita-Ogbolu, Akure. He described the exercise as a routine military training designed to sharpen the weapon handling skills of officers and soldiers. The Army urged members of the public not to panic when they observe troop movement or hear gunfire during the exercise. Residents, commuters, and farmers in the Ita-Ogbolu area have been advised to steer clear of the range for safety throughout the period of the exercise. The Army also appealed to the public to share the information widely, including in local languages, to ensure maximum awareness and cooperation. And moving on to the foreign scene, an emergency summit of Arab and Islamic country leaders held in Doha has condemned Israel's attack on Hamas leaders in the capital. The Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC's pledge to activate a joint defense mechanism may have been the most actionable result of the summit. The GCC countries, Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates, have formed a defense pact to address the security concerns of the member states.
And they're trying to eviscerate the negotiation on the other. This has been the practice of the Israelis to this day. If bringing the war to a halt will be met with the release of their captives, it is not what they want. They aim to turn Gaza into a wasteland, uninhabitable by the Palestinians.
Israel's attack brought together countries which were seen as regional rivals, and Gulf Cooperation Council members pledged to assess the GCC's defense posture and asked nations to impose sanctions, suspended the supply, transfer or transit of weapons, ammunition and military materials, and also to review diplomatic and economic relations. During the hours of speeches, the silence of the signatories of Abraham Accords, UAE, Bahrain, and Morocco was notable, and despite its strong statements against the attack on
more than just a statement of condemnation of Israel. What we need is real, true decisions about conducting boycott, divestment, sanctions on Israel,
after what is being called a cowardly attack on mediator and a fellow Arab Muslim country. There has been a familiar chorus of condemnations and solidarity from a group that collectively represent about a quarter of the world's population and account for about a sixth of the global economy. An unprecedented attack by Israel brought together a near unprecedented gathering of world leaders who represents nearly 2 billion Muslims, but previous statements and strong worded resolutions have not been able to stop Israel, which continued to attack Gaza and Lebanon while their speeches were ongoing in Qatar. Kemisola Ojomu, OSRC News.
With our report, we conclude the OSRC News at 7, but before we go, another look at the major stories. The Ondo State government is warned against vandalism of public infrastructure as officials say the act undermines the state's collective progress. We also told you that the Ondo State government has announced the return of the Mari Festival in Idori this December, marking its comeback after years of suspension. The federal government has suspended the 4% levy on imported goods introduced by the Nigeria Customs Service. Finance Minister Wale Edun announced the decision after widespread concerns from stakeholders. And from the foreign scene, Arab and Islamic leaders have condemned Israel's attack on Gaza and backed the GCC's defense pact. And that's it on the news. Thank you so much for watching. Good evening.